going to come through legally. And we're going to have situations, I'll tell you what, folks, our country is going to start winning again. We don't win at all. We don't win with our military. We don't win in any way. I mean, I'm fighting a battle in Florida where you have little Marco, you know Marco, little Marco. And Marco, boy, oh boy, I've never seen, number one, he's a choker. Did you ever see anybody choke like that during a debate? By the way, who won the last debate? I think I won all of the debates. You know, I hear all about Lion Ted. So, you know, I have the evangelical support. And everyone thinks, oh, gee, that's amazing. In South Carolina, it was supposed to be an easy victory for Ted. And it turned out to be a lot. You know what happened? He hurt Ben Carson, who, by the way, just endorsed me. Great guy. But he cheated Ben Carson horribly in Iowa. And all of a sudden, people started getting wise to him. And he walks in with the Bible held high. This is Lion Ted. He has the Bible high, waves the Bible, puts it down, then he starts talking and he lies. So it's Lion Ted. And then Marco over here, Marco, what he does, but most importantly, what is he? He's a choke artist who never goes to vote. I mean, here's a guy representing Florida, has the worst attendance record in the last 20 years in the U.S. Senate. Who the hell wants him to represent you?
No one!
So I think Marco's got a lot of problems. He's got other problems. He'll just take a look at the ads. You know, I figured we might as well put a couple of negative ads up. They're doing it to me. By the way, has anybody had more negative ads in history than one? All of the special interests. I'll tell you one. I got to tell you one. So the stupid growth for what is it? Health for Growth, Club for Growth. These people come in. Club for Growth. So they come in to see me last week. They come in to see me about a year ago last week. And they want to talk. What do you want to talk about? And I did it for a friend. He said, would you see them? They come into my office. They ask me for $1 million. Now, you can be rich, but, you know, what are you doing, right? We don't want to be stupid people like the people running our country, right? So they come in, Club for Growth. They come in and they give me some. The guy's an ex-congressman, so you know he can't be very honest, okay? Except your congressman here is great, I have to tell you. And I think he endorsed me. So they come in and they say, we have this, we have that, Club for Growth. I didn't know what the heck he was talking about. Didn't make any sense. It was a waste. So I told him very nicely that I'm not interested in being extorted. And I said, no, I'm not going to give you $1 million. They went so negative. So now they're putting up, anytime you see Club for Growth, remember this, it's extortion. Just think of it. It's an extortionist plot. They came to my office, they asked for $1 million. Then stupidly, he writes me a letter asking for $1 million. Okay, now I already sort of turned him down, but he writes me a letter asking for $1 million. We were very nice. We tried to be nice. We told them, no, thank you very much. We really love you very much. No, thank you, right? And now they do negative ads. I have had more negative ads than any human being. And yet, last week, Mississippi, unbelievable. Michigan, unbelievable. Hawaii, I don't know how. And I'll tell you, those ads are lies. They're lies. They are so dishonest. They say whatever they want to say, and they're really dirty, rotten lies. Just remember that. And they're put up by the people. The money is put up by the people that controls the people that I'm on the stage with. They control Ted Cruz, and they control little Marco Rubio. They have total control. In fact, you have guys in Washington, lobbyists, it says Rubio on his forehead. You go to him, you pay them a big fee, it's practically guaranteed you get their vote, and they will do anything these guys say because they give them a lot of money. Okay? Me, I'm different. I'm self-funding my campaign. I'm working for you. Believe me, I'm working. So here's what I have to tell you. So one of the reasons, I happen to be conservative, but one of the reasons they like to say, you know, the elite, they call themselves the elite conservatives.
You go to her.
They're not elite like I am, but I'm more like you, believe me. I'm more like you. I put in one of the greatest financial statements probably ever given to the Federal Elections Commission. Nobody reports on it. You know why they don't report on it? Because it's so good. They were so unhappy when I put in those numbers. They thought, oh, you know, I'm a private company. So the numbers were far bigger, far better, I mean, they were incredible. Look, tremendous assets, some of the great assets of the world. Very, very, very little debt. Unbelievable cash flows, but the best assets. And they don't want to report it. You know why? They had no idea this was going to happen. Don't forget, they said he'd never run. Then they said he'd never file Form A, because that's basically a one-pager where you sign your life away. When I did that, they said, whoa, he said he's running. He filed. Then they said he'll never file his financials. And I filed the financials, almost 100 pages, and it's the best ever filed with the federal elections by a factor of a lot. Mitt Romney is like this. He's a little tiny peanut, little peanut. I mean, I have a store that's worth more than Mitt Romney, that's which is true. So, no, but the jealousy, because the truth is, we have to bring our party together, folks. We have to. We're going to win something that's going to be special. We do have to bring our party together. The reason I tell you about the forms and the reason I tell you about the filing of the financials, because the financials say a lot, and it only means this. We need that kind of thinking for our country, because right now we're being ripped off by everybody. We're like the whipping posts for everybody. We can't let it happen. We have $19 trillion in debt. They want to cut Social Security, which I'm not cutting. I'm going to bring our jobs back. I'm going to make our country wealthy again. And I'm the only one that's not cutting it. I will not cut it. So we have a ways to go. We have a ways to go. And when I heard about Ford, and when they told me, I mean, honestly, when the Park family came over and told me about Eaton and told me about Ford, do you know Ford right now, they're building, almost completing, a $2.5 billion plant in Mexico. Right there. And that's one of the divisions that's going there. But $2.5 billion, they're taking out of Michigan. That's why I won Michigan. Because nobody can protect you like me, believe me. Now, I like free trade. But it's got to be smart trade, folks. It's got to be something. When we lose $505 billion in trade, think of it, $505 billion trading with China. Who needs to do this? Why are we doing it? What are we doing? And to deal with China is almost impossible. You can't get your product in, and when you do get it in, you know what happens? They tax the hell out of you. With them, they send it in, we don't tax them. So here's what we're doing. Carrier and Ford, I could change, and frankly, Nabisco, and hundreds of other companies moving out to Mexico. Mexico is the new China, smaller version, okay, believe me. We have a trade deficit with Mexico of $58 billion this year, right? $58 billion. And then these stupid politicians, they say, they won't allow you to build a wall. I said, yes, they will. Yes, they will. By the way, ready? 100%. I don't mean like 99. I won't be coming back to you in 2 years, say, folks, I'm sorry, it's impossible. You know, one of the reasons they wanted to build it 15 years ago, you won't believe this, but they couldn't get their environmental impact study approved. You believe that? Because there were snakes in the way, or turtles, or rats, or something. Snails. Snails are always good. We will get that built so fast your head will spin. So they said, they were telling me, we need it. You know, I had a great victory in New Hampshire. A great victory in New Hampshire. And I love New Hampshire because it was my first really great victory in terms of politics. Hey, I've been doing this for 8 months. I haven't been doing it that long. And I won New Hampshire in a landslide, just a total landslide. And I told those people, I said, if I win, I'm going to do something, because you go to New Hampshire, the most beautiful fields, the most beautiful trees, everything's beautiful. And you go to a meeting with the people, and you say, what's your number one problem? They say heroin. I say, heroin? You know, it just doesn't go. I said, what do you mean heroin? Oh, it's our number one. Every single meeting I went to, it's drugs, it's heroin, coming over the southern border. They pour the drugs over, we get the drugs, they get the cash, folks. Not gonna happen anymore. It's not gonna happen anymore. Not gonna happen. So what we're going to do, and I made that pledge to the people, I made that pledge very strongly to the people of New Hampshire, and I'm making it to the country. But I specifically said, if I get in, we're gonna get the kids better. Their youth is just, it's disastrous. For some reason, bigger in New Hampshire than I've ever seen anywhere else. And it's so strange because it's just not the setting for it. It's just not what you think. So we're gonna take care of that drugs, the drugs pouring in like it's water into our country. So we get drugs, they get cash. It's over, folks. It's not gonna happen, okay? Not gonna. So let me just tell you. So here's what we're gonna do. I'll use this as an example. Now my daughter Ivanka, do we know Ivanka, right? So she said the other night in the debate, Daddy, I want to talk to you. What? Would you please act presidential in this debate? I said, I've won every debate so far. You know, if you look at Drudge, if you look at Time, if you look at Slate, if you look at all these online polls, every single debate, according to every single poll, I've won. I say, what do you mean presidential? I want to keep winning. She said, Dad, don't hit back so hard. You don't have to hit back. It's over. You don't have to hit back.
Bullshit.
He said, this guy's a lightweight. I don't know. I call him lightweight. I call him a lightweight. But she said, don't do it. Daddy, be nice. Just don't do it. So every time I was ready to go after him, I thought of Ivanka. And I said, you know what? And my wife, Melania, she said, don't hit back so hard. You shouldn't do that. Act presidential. So I said, all right. So everybody said I acted presidential. I didn't hit back. And my poll numbers went up. So they were right. Can you believe it? They were right. But here's where I won't act so presidential. So it doesn't look presidential when I call. So Carrier, you know, closes up their plant. And they're moving, you saw the announcement 3 weeks ago. Some management guy gets up, and he wasn't even nice about it, frankly. You'd think he'd be nice about it. He said, after many, many years, all these great people, 1,400 people, we're closing our plant, we're moving to Mexico. It was almost said like that. Horrible. We're closing our plant, we're moving to Mexico. By the way, folks, whether you're highly educated or not highly educated, how does that help us, right? How does it help us? So we're closing our plant, we're moving to Mexico. So here's what I do. Now, I have the best business leaders in the world. Carl Icahn, some of the smartest, the best. We have the best in the world. We're gonna use them for trade. We're gonna use them for negotiation. We're gonna use them to our advantage. Nobody can out-negotiate these deals, but here's what I'm doing. Don't worry about them, let them rot. Let them rot. Don't worry about them. Don't worry about them, folks. Don't worry about them. Let's just talk over. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm not at all going to look presidential, but I'm gonna do it myself anyway. I'm calling up the head of Carrier, and I'm gonna say, this could be Ford, by the way, this could be Nabisco, this could be any one of the hundreds of companies that are pouring into Mexico because our leadership is so stupid, they let it happen. This could be Pfizer that's moving to Ireland, but here's what I'm doing. I'm gonna say something that conservatives don't like because while I'm a free trader, I'm a smart trader. I'm a fair trader. I know what I'm doing. I'm gonna say to Carrier, enjoy your new plant. I hope it's lovely. I hope you make a lot of air conditioning units. And I buy a lot of Carrier, but I'm not buying anymore. I hope you make a lot of air conditioning units. But here's the story. Every unit you make that crosses the border, and now we're gonna have a real border, remember that. We're gonna have a real border. We are charging you 35% tax on that unit. And you know what they're gonna say? They're gonna call up their lobbyists. But the lobbyists can't get to me because I haven't taken any of their money. And they're call up their special interest friends, and they're going to call me, and I'm not even going to take their call. They didn't give me anything. I turned down tens of millions of dollars. I have turned down, folks. Jeb Bush had 148 million. Can you believe that? Jeb spent 160 million dollars on his campaign, and he was down here. I spent peanuts, and I'm by far number one. Now, peanuts. What's peanuts? What's peanuts? What's peanuts? $30 million is always money, right? But I spent relatively little. Wouldn't it be nice if our country was that way? Yeah. Where the guy who spends the least is in first place. You know, in education, out of the top 30, the 30 countries that they look at, the United States is number 30, last. We're last. But we're number one in cost per pupil. Number one. Think of that. So we're number one. Not good, right? So we are going to change it around, and we're going to have a situation where they have a voice. Look, it's a Bernie person. It's a Bernie. Hello, Bernie. Hey, Bernie, get your people in line, Bernie. Get your people in line. Trump should get his people under control, and they put in these people. And by the way, our crowds are so much bigger than Bernie's, you wouldn't believe it. And I think Bernie's finished, but you never know. Hillary's really doing badly, right? You never know. I think he's finished, but we've been saying that for about 4 weeks. Hillary just seemed, I don't know, Hillary cannot seem to win. Even against the communists. I mean, how is it that in this great society, that a communist cannot be beaten by Hillary Clinton? So, here's the story. They will call me and they will take them up, right? I don't care. I'm working for you. It's done. Enjoy your plan. Have a good thing. He'll call me back within 1 day, as sure as you're standing there, and he'll say, Mr. President, we decided to stay in the United States. I'll say, thank you. Thank you. It's going to happen. By the way, that's not 90% or 95%. That's 100% sure. All right? That's 100% sure. So look, I just want to tell you. So important is on Tuesday, you have to go out and vote. We have this incredible movement. Going on. It's on the cover of Time magazine. It's on the cover of the New York Times, which treats us all horribly, by the way. Unfortunately, it's a dying paper, won't be around too much longer. It's on the cover of the Wall Street Journal. We have a movement going, like, by the way, this isn't Donald Trump talking. This is political experts, if there is such a thing, like has never been seen in the United States. Okay? Thank you. You know, and it's not because of Little Marco, and it's not because of Lion Ted, I can tell you that. Do you know that millions and millions of people more are going to the polls to vote? That some of the countries, I'll tell you what, if you take a look, all countries are watching this. They don't believe what's happening. Millions and millions and millions of people. And yet, for the Democrats, they're down 35%. The Republicans have millions of people coming in. They're Democrats, they're independents, they're all over. They're people who have never voted before. I'll sign some papers here in a little while and shake some hands. But let me just tell you what happens. And I'll tell you that what's happening is every time I do, I meet every 20th person. Says, Mr. Trump, these are 50-year-old people, 60-year-old, 70-year-old. I had one 92 years old in Tennessee. Mr. Trump, I've never voted before, ever. I've never found anybody that I've wanted to vote for. Sir, for the first time in my life, I'm voting. And they have a Trump shirt on, the whole thing. I'm voting. This is a massive number of people. We beat Hillary in the polls. I haven't even started on her. I have to still get rid of this Kasich guy. I have to get rid of Kasich. He would be so bad as president because he's so weak on immigration. He's so bad on trade. But he had luck. He had the oil. He had pure luck. And by the way, you're going to have huge problems. You watch what's going to happen over the next year or 2 years with Ohio. But if I get in, it's going to all turn around. You're going to keep your companies here. You're not going to lose this one. You're not going to lose that one. So here's the story, folks. You got to get out and vote on Tuesday, or the movement is just going to go down in history as a wonderful, wonderful lot of talk. I received a call from a very, very major reporter, somebody I respect a lot, even though he happens to be liberal. And he said, I'd like to talk to Donald Trump. So they put me on the phone. I said, yes. He goes, how does it feel? I said, how's what feel? How does it feel to do what you've done? Nobody has ever done it in the history of this country. How does it feel? I said, doesn't feel like anything personally, because if I don't win, it doesn't mean a damn thing to me. He said, no, you're wrong. He said, no, you're wrong. What you've done will go down in the history books. And I said, you're wrong. If we don't win, we can't make these changes. We can't straighten out the country. And I say it doesn't matter. So we've got to win. We've got to win on Tuesday. On Tuesday, you have to win. Now, and just in closing, I have to tell you again, I want to thank the Park, the great Park family. But here's really what I want to do. You're going to win so much. We're going to win with the military. We're going to win for our veterans. We're going to take care of our veterans. We're going to win with health care. We're going to win at the border. We're going to have a strong border. We're going to have a wall. We're going to have Mexico pay for the wall. We're going to take care of it. We're going to win with Common Core and education. We're getting rid of Common Core. We're going to save our Second Amendment. We're going to save it. We're not going to let them chip away any longer at Christianity, which they're doing more and more. We're not going to let it happen. We're not going to let that happen. And we're not going to let them chip away at our Second Amendment. So here's the start. We're going to win, and we're going to win everywhere. We're going to knock the hell out of ISIS. We're going to win with trade. We're going to win with trade. We're going to win with health. We're going to win at so many levels. We're going to win, win, win. You're going to get so tired of winning. You're going to say, Mr. President, please, we don't want to win anymore. It's too much. And I'm going to say, I'm sorry. We're going to keep winning because we're going to make America great again. I love you. Thank you. Thank you. Go and vote on Tuesday. Thank you. Thank you.
USA! 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 USA!
And then the music.